pies are ready. Let's get cooking.
Now the first one is our mom's chocolate marshmallow cookies. Now it's so simple. You're going to start with a chocolate cake mix and just dump it into the bottom of your bowl. Next you're going to add 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. Next you're going to crack 2 eggs and just dump it into the bowl. Then just start mixing it together. I like to start with a whisk, and then at the end I like to use a spoon because it gets thick. Now it's time to start rolling it out. So I roll it into balls in about 1-inch size balls. Go ahead and fill up. I did 12 cookies on my cookie sheet. You're going to bake these at 350 degrees for about 5 to 6 minutes. When it's done, you're going to pull it out and put your marshmallows on. Now we want to melt the marshmallows a little bit, so we're going to put those back into the oven for about 2 to 2.5 minutes, just until they're really soft. You can make them golden brown if you want. Now I'm making my favorite frosting. I'll put the link down below in the description for you for my frosting link, but you can use whatever frosting you want. Then you just spread it right over top of your marshmallows. Now I would wait for these to cool just a little bit, or yeah, it will be a little melty. The second recipe is our mom's delicious no-bake cookies, or she likes to call them gorilla poops. You're first going to start by adding 2 tablespoons of butter. You're going to melt that over medium-high heat on your stovetop. Then you're going to add 1/2 cup of milk and then 2 cups of sugar and just dump that right in. Now we're going to mix this all together just so it doesn't burn on the bottom of your pan. Next, add 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, and then you're going to add just a little bit of vanilla. So it's about 1/2 teaspoon to 1 teaspoon of vanilla, a little bit of salt, and then go ahead and mix that all together. Now once that starts to boil, go ahead and pull it off the stovetop, and you're going to add 3/4 cup of peanut butter. You can add creamy or chunky, whatever you prefer, and then mix that in until everything is nice and smooth. Next, add 2 cups of instant oatmeal or quick oats while your chocolate is still hot, because we want to be able to mix that really well together. Once that starts to dry, it's going to start to harden up, so we want to do it while it's hot. Now I love using cookie scoops when I scoop out these cookies, because then I don't have to burn my fingers and they're all nice and even and proportional, and you get what I'm saying. I like to scoop them out on foil so the cleanup is nice and easy, and then you just let them dry. Once they're dry, they harden and they are absolutely delicious. Next up is our Brownie Mix Cookies. You're first going to start with 1 box of brownie mix and just dump that into your bowl. Next, you're going to add 1/4 cup of flour, 2 eggs, and then on top of that, you're going to add 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. Now go ahead and mix that all together. Now it will take a minute just because there's not a ton of liquid in there, and it's a brownie mix, so it's nice and thick. So if you need to use your hands, you can do that too. Once it's mixed pretty well, you're going to add about 1 cup of M&Ms. Now you can use big M&Ms or mini M&Ms, whichever ones you want to do. Again, I'm using my handy dandy cookie scoop because it just makes things a little bit easier. I have a special helper with me today doing that. Now you're going to bake them at 375 degrees for about 7 to 10 minutes. So watch them, make sure they don't burn. When they're all done, you can pull them out, and I like to eat them when they're nice and hot. The 4th recipe is our 4-ingredient chocolate Rollo cookies. Now you're going to start with 1 box of Devil's Food Cake or chocolate food cake if you can't find Devil's Food Cake. Go ahead and add 2 eggs to that. Then you're going to add 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. Then go ahead and mix that together. Now I started with a whisk and then I went to a spoon because it gets a little thicker and a little harder. After the spoon, I literally went to my hands just to finish mixing it up. Go ahead and push that aside. Now it's time to unwrap the Rollos. You're going to take your unwrapped Rollo, which is very important, and you're going to cover it with a little bit of the dough. Roll it up and then put it onto your cookie sheet. Now I fit about 12 cookies onto my cookie sheet. So you're going to preheat your oven to 350 degrees and cook it for 7 to 8 minutes. Now you can sprinkle a little powdered sugar on top, but you don't have to. Anyways, when you open these things up, they are full of melted caramel, and it is my most favorite. The next recipe is our super soft sugar cookies. So first you're going to add 3/4 cup of butter and 3/4 cup of sugar. Now go ahead and blend that together really well. Once that's all blended and mixed well together, you're going to add 2 eggs, 3 teaspoons of vanilla extract and then mix it all together again. Once it's well combined, you're going to add a half teaspoon of salt, 2 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, and 2 1/4 cups of flour. Now this is the last time you have to mix it all together. So once it's all mixed and well combined, you're going to cover it with plastic wrap and stick it in the refrigerator to chill for about 30 minutes. Now it's time to roll the balls. So let me show you just a little trick when you make sugar cookies. Now you can make them with the cookie cutters, that's great, but it's really easy just to make them in balls and then you just press them down a little bit so they'll be complete circles. Now you're going to bake these at 350 degrees for about 8 to 10 minutes. While they're baking, it's time to make the frosting. So you start with 2 1/2 cups powdered sugar, 3 tablespoons of butter that's softened, and you're going to mix those together, just the best that you can. Next, you're going to add 3 tablespoons of milk and a half tablespoon of vanilla extract. Now blend those very smoothly and softly so you don't get the powdered sugar everywhere and your frosting will become thick and delicious. Now the trick is not to melt your butter, it's just to keep it softened, and that's how you get the buttercream texture. Then to decorate, you just add on your favorite sprinkles. Now these are super soft and delicious and they work with any holiday. You just change up the sprinkles. But I love making them for Christmas.